You know what time it is. It's time to get jacked up for Jesus. If you like these videos, please like and subscribe to Western New York Jacked Up 93 Crew. Subscribe to this channel. Share these videos. Please comment. So I just got done. Can't see it, but I just got done with this counter here in the shop. We're ready to go live here shortly. And as always, as the things in my life, through my walk and different things, they inspire me to speak about Christ. And this counter here today has done that. You see, everyone, I don't care what your position in life is, whether if you feel that you're in a position of authority or you're not, is either a customer, a salesperson, a service employee. They're on one side of the counter or the other, just like in life. Sometimes we have our highs. Sometimes we're able to be there and be strong for our friends, our family, our loved ones. And sometimes we're on that other side of the counter and we need other people's assistance. So, as I was doing this counter, I was asking myself, what is harder? What is harder? Working the counter or being on the other side of the counter as a customer? And a lot of you are probably thinking, well, definitely the salesperson, the service person behind the counter, because it's frustrating sometimes because the customer's always right. Well, I tell you this. From my perspective tonight and my inspiration, I would say and make the point that it is very difficult to be a gracious customer, especially in this day and age. Myself, we've all been through situations where we go out and the service is not good. Or maybe we feel that we were disrespected or mistreated at an establishment, right? And knowing that the customer is always right, we act out or we do something, right? We ask for the store manager, get a supervisor, I want a refund, all these different things. But how can we handle that situation graciously, right? Because you got to understand, 9 times out of 10, the person behind the counter is just an employee trying to do their job, right? They're not either an owner, they don't have a say over the operation of things. Kind of sounds familiar with God's plan and not being able to see what's going on in this world and in life, and thinking that we're in control of something, right? But we like to take it out on that person behind the counter. Sometimes, in that correlation, like I just said, we get upset with God. You know, like how many times have you heard, why do good people die? Why do this, and this happen when that person was a good person? Well, how come rapists are in prison? All these different things, right? But that's us as the customer expecting something from the salesperson, right? God is like our salesperson. We want, right? And can we receive graciously? Can we praise the person behind the counter, right? If God was that person behind the counter, can we stay in praise when we feel the service isn't good that we're receiving because we can't see the whole picture or the plan? Can we do that? So imagine that. Imagine God's behind the counter and you come up to the counter and all you want to do is receive, blessing after blessing. But when that time comes, when that service is not there, are you screaming for the supervisor? Are you being gracious and merciful in that situation? Can you do that? Because that's what makes a character of a person. It's about being that gracious customer. And yes, being on the other side of the counter is frustrating as well, especially if you're an employee of a business. and you know you're just trying to do your job, and you want to try to handle that situation gracefully and mercifully. And with that aspect of the customer is always right. But the difficulty still lies in the person receiving that service. Just like in the Lord Jesus Christ who died for you on that cross, right? He paid the penalty. It's like walking through the self-checkout line at Walmart, right? All you have to do is scan the items. Scan the items, right? By your own free will. Scan those items, right? And then when that barcode doesn't register, you start freaking out and calling for an associate to come over, creating a scene in Walmart because your SpaghettiOs didn't ring up properly through the self-checkup. Are you yelling at that person at the other side of the customer? Same thing with God and Jesus Christ. He paid that penalty. He paid the penalty for your sin. But yet, when things happen in our life, and we're on that other side of the counter, and that service that we feel entitled to doesn't happen, we have the tendency to become disgruntled children of God. Or maybe in general, we totally don't believe by faith in the Lord, and we reject it. We want to reject that service behind the counter, right? Be like, I'm never going shopping there again. That was the worst service I ever got because you didn't get exactly what you wanted. But yet the best items were laid out for you, but that was not good enough for you. Can you be that gracious customer? That's the challenge to you out there. So next time you're on the other side of the counter, realize that person on the other side of the counter can be easily you dealing with somebody's situation. And when you're about to take it out on somebody, think about that. Put your little toesies into that person's shoes and try to put that into perspective. But also using the analogy of God being on that other side of the counter, can you graciously not receive something, or maybe something you wanted is on layaway and you don't even know it's on layaway? Do they even have layaway anymore? I don't know. So for you millennials out there, layaway used to be you would pay for some of the items and you would put them in the back and they would save them for you, and then you come back, pay for the rest, and you get your item, right? So maybe that blessing's on layaway and you haven't received it yet, but you don't know that. You know what I mean? Are you going to be on the other side of the counter stomping your feet in frustration because your layaway is not ready? No. So challenge yourself out there. Be a gracious customer. Love y'all out there. Support your local businesses as much as possible as we go through these difficult times, as these regulations start to seem to pick up. Try to keep these people in business, their livelihoods going. Support your neighbors. Use grace and mercy when you go into these establishments, and understand that there's so much pressure as a business owner and employees to put food on the table for their families. So God bless you all out there. Still love you, as always. And let's continue to be jacked up for Jesus.